One wrong click, and a realtor's life turned into a deadly auction. Now the price of his freedom rose with every call. The wrong number. The Atlanta evening was thick and sticky, like syrup on Waffle House waffles. In the real estate office, the air conditioner hummed like an old tractor, not cooling, just blowing up the power bill. Kevin chewed a mint candy to cover the smell of cheap bourbon and clicked through new listings. That morning he had been stuck on I-285, 3 miles in an hour, as always. In traffic, he listened to the local radio. The hosts were arguing about how the Braves had managed to lose another 9th inning. All of it still clung to his head while he opened the blueprints of a mansion with a sunken foundation. To him, just an address. To the client, a hiding place for millions. He drafted an email, reread it 3 times, even rehearsed in his head. "Good afternoon. Please find attached the plan." The candy stuck to the roof of his mouth and annoyed him. He argued with himself, send it right away or leave it in drafts. In memory flickered a green peach tree sign he had nearly missed that morning. There were dozens of those streets in the city, all the same. Click. Send. The screen blinked and the email was gone. A second later, Kevin realized, wrong recipient. Autocomplete had played a cruel trick. He tried to recall it, but too late. His heart pounded against his temples, palms slick with sweat. Inside, everything dropped. Minutes later, a message appeared. Delete the file? Of course, under the family peace rate. Signed, Angela. A random woman who now knew what she never should have. The phone rang that evening. Unknown number. The office was sweltering, the AC howled, and the wall TV reported heat index over 100 again, Atlanta melting. "Mr. Kevin?" A woman's voice, polite and cold, with a faint southern drawl. "I think you know why I'm calling." Kevin swallowed, and to mask his nerves, automatically opened the MLS on his screen. He scrolled through houses as if he could resell this problem too. "You got that message by mistake," he said, trying to sound steady. "Just delete it." "Delete?" Angela chuckled. 5,000 sounds sweet. Sweetheart and ma'am would approve, but let's skip the discounts." "It's just bargaining," Kevin told himself. "I know how to bargain. This is just another deal." 5,000. "That's blackmail," he forced out. "No, honey. It's called the value of information. You work in real estate, then you know listings. I'm just putting one up. Different category." In the corner, the ice maker crashed a load of cubes, dry as gravel on a coffin lid. Kevin flinched. "You have 24 hours, Angela went on. "Then I'll start calling others. IRS, reporters, maybe even your client." The line cut. Listings flickered on the monitor, but Kevin saw only one number, 5,000, and the sense it was only the opening bid. Kevin spent the next day in feverish suspense. He showed houses, nodded, smiled, but all thoughts circled back to that call. The phone in his pocket was a ticking bomb. Every notification slammed his chest. By evening, the call came. Same woman, same calm tone. "Hope you brought the money," she said. Kevin tried carefully. Explained the sum was too much. He could gather less. Pause on the line, a soft laugh. You know, Mr. Kevin, I'd changed my mind. 5,000 is almost free. Let's make it 10. A tip for fate. He froze. She was playing him like a cat with a mouse. That's unreasonable, he stammered. Don't you realize you're the one at risk? Risk? Her voice softened, yet steel rang in it. I hold a blueprint of a basement stuffed with dirty cash. If anyone's at risk, it's you. Tomorrow night, Sunset Motel, sign says Wi-Fi works sometimes, 8 o'clock, no witnesses. The call ended, leaving Kevin in silence. All night he rehearsed before the mirror, raised his hand as if holding a bag, whispered, "Here, take it," then suddenly snatched an imaginary phone. Each try looked more pathetic. His hands shook like a teenager's on a first date. His mouth was dry, mint candy glued to the roof. The plan was pitiful, but all he had. He grabbed free newspapers from the agency lobby, stacked them into a bag tied with a rubber band. On top, he laid a single dollar, a prop for realism. The bag looked pathetic, but he told himself, while she checks, he'll grab her phone and end this. On paper, it seemed simple, but the closer tomorrow came, the clearer it was. Angela expected tricks, and the game had never been fair. The motel meeting was a farce. Angela calmly opened the bag, pulled out newspapers, and smiled as if she had expected it. A camera blinked red, recording his every clumsy move. Now she had proof of both his blackmail and his failed trick. Kevin drove home on the I-285 loop, stuck in heavy traffic, staring at endless taillights. The car's AC barely cooled. Hot air slapped his face, as if Atlanta itself wanted to suffocate him. Thoughts circled. It's over. Either pay or die. Yesterday he had dreamed of his own agency. Imagined a Kevin Realty sign on glass doors, framed photos of happy buyers. It had felt real, and now collapsed like a house of cards. Morning forced the step he feared most, meeting the client. They sat in a Waffle House on the outskirts. The waitress yelled at the cook over burnt bacon, while the man in the tailored suit spoke not of business, but baseball. The Braves blew it again, he sighed, poking his omelet. Got a leak in the bedroom roof. Embarrassing, huh? Kevin blinked, not seeing how this conversation mixed with the question of removing a woman holding them by the throat. His guts clenched. Two of the client's men sat nearby. One, cap turned backward, munched a donut and swore Krispy Kreme was best. The other, a neat freak with a stack of napkins, wiped everything down and insisted Duncan was safer. Their bickering played like background music to a death sentence. Kevin listened, knowing no way out. Paying meant defeat, refusal meant wrath, and the mob forgave no mistakes. Again he pictured the office with his name on the door, first flip sold. That dream now stared back like mockery. The client pulled him back. Not bad, that bag stunt. Initiative counts, he said, like a manager at a staff meeting. Just make sure next time it doesn't sink the whole team. Laughter from the kitchen, donut arguments, the stench of burnt bacon, all blended into nightmare. Kevin knew he wasn't just an agent anymore, he was a debtor, and the debt was deadly.
The decision was swift. Kevin's client was used to acting fast. Problems were bought or erased. Kevin was shoved into a car with the two men. One still wore the Braves cap. The other clutched napkins, careful not to touch a thing. Traffic on Peachtree Road stalled them for nearly an hour. The driver grumbled. "These lights, I swear, You grow old before you reach a hit. Kevin sat wedged between them, sweat sticking his shirt. Maybe it'll just be a scare. Maybe they won't. But deep inside, he knew no mercy. Angela's house was small and neat. Blinds closed, plastic chair on the porch, fresh Home Depot coupons on the mailbox. Inside was spotless, suspiciously so, as if ready for guests. "Shoulda grabbed donuts," the cap guy muttered. "Long day, sugar's dropping." "You'd chew them at a funeral," the neat one snapped, pulling on gloves. Kevin listened to every sound. He had always thought strength was in guns and connections. Now he saw he had underestimated household skills, foresight, order, preparing ground, all Angela's weapons. In the kitchen, a laptop flicked on. Angela's pre-recorded voice played. "If you're watching this, I've already turned off the kettle, and the files went to IRS long ago. So relax, the coffee won't help you." Her tone was cold and casual, like a voicemail. Meanwhile, at the IRS office, boxes rolled down conveyors, stamps pounded, scanners swallowed pages, agents stacked files, routine as sorting mail. On Angela's fridge, a note in marker, "Return containers." A trivial detail made it all more terrifying. Kevin stared at the screen, feeling everything collapse. They had come with weapons, yet ended as pawns in someone else's game. A game won by the one who boiled tea on time and remembered the containers. When IRS agents arrived at the suburban mansion, it looked serene. White facade, tidy lawn, trimmed shrubs. Nothing suggested the hidden network below. Kevin stood aside, watching gloved agents descend. Flashlights cut the basement. What had seemed ordinary walls revealed secrets. Faux stone canals opened at a touch, exposing metal boxes. An agent rapped. Hollow. Shelves bore coded labels. A1, B3, D12. A warehouse system. Kevin recalled the client's joke, "Even the IRS envies our books." An agent tugged a carton marked seasonal. Lights. No bulbs. Only bundles of cash wrapped in rubber bands. The paper rustled like mockery. Kevin felt something break inside. On a table lay the first printouts from a seized laptop upstairs. His signature stamped each page. "I staged my own execution," he thought. Everything he had once called just business had become a noose. "Midweek inventory, sir," one agent told another, handing over a box of bills. "Like a yard sale." The basement was silent, but for the creak of boxes and whisper of paper. A network built for years, crumbled in hours. Outside, neighbors walked dogs, unaware a criminal era was ending on their street. For Kevin, it was the end of all. Career, freedom, the dream of his own agency. The courtroom smelled of polished wood and stale machine coffee. The AC had failed again. Atlanta's heavy heat hung even here. The judge spoke in a dry, almost lazy tone. "To defendant Kevin J. Miller, license revoked, case deemed criminal, sentence is..." The stenographer's stool creaked louder than the verdict. Kevin sat chewing a mint candy.
its flavor gone almost instantly, like everything else in his life. Once, the mantra, "Nothing personal, just business," had steadied him. Now it was emptier than an old radio jingle. From the back row came whispers. Two men debating whether Home Depot or Lowe's had better prices on lumber. Kevin nearly laughed. His life was ending, and people compared plywood. His lawyer murmured about an appeal, but Kevin barely listened. In his mind rose one detail, the seasonal lights box the IRS had opened. I recalled an agent asking, "Think we can actually hang 'em for Christmas?" That line hit harder than the sentence. The whole chain, his flip house dream, mint candies, the sunken basement of cash, Waffle House donuts, Angela's video, all reduced to Christmas lights someone might string up. Utter futility, sealed in a neat legal file. Rumor said Angela got a reward and vanished, new name in tow. To the IRS, she was an informant. To the mob, a traitor. To herself, probably just a woman who boiled tea on time and wrote return containers on her fridge. Kevin sat in a concrete cell, chewing another mint. The flavor died faster than before. He knew mistakes always cost, sometimes freedom, sometimes a name, sometimes lights that never got to shine.